What's a company secret you can share now that you don't work there? I worked at L'Oreal. The cosmetics from L'Oreal and Lancome are practically the same, but Lancome costs like $20 more. I worked for a major hotel chain in housekeeping for over 10 years. The number of suicides and people who die naturally in their rooms is a lot higher than you'd think. I worked at a huge convention hotel with over 1,000 rooms, and it happened quite often. Unless it was a pretty gnarly mess, it would just get clean like normal, and the next guest had no idea. At one of the hotels I worked at, a woman killed herself by drinking antifreeze. Her body was blue, blood, vomit, and poop everywhere. My friend who was maintenance saw it and couldn't sleep that night. Working at hotels will change you. If you were on live chat with customer care, I could see what you were typing before pressing send. I watched people work through grotesque, racist, sexist statements, fraudulent lies and mistruths, meticulous grammar fixes, and their whole range of emotions in real time before deleting and typing, okay. Meticulous grammar fixes. Guilty. The worst part is, I know they can see it. The vehicle modification shop at Chillicothe Correctional Institution in Chillicothe, Ohio, dumps waste coolant from the machine shop into a storm drain that empties directly into the Scioto River, because the chemical disposal tank is a 55-gallon drum in the paint shop, and that's much too small. They can't throw me into solitary confinement for complaining anymore. Edit, this happens about once a year, when the machine's coolant reservoirs are emptied and the coolant replaced. It's not on a schedule, it's one of those things that you do when work is slow. Each machine holds 15 to 20 gallons, and usually you just add more as it evaporates, but eventually it gets nasty and needs replaced. It's supposed to go in a waste tote to be disposed of safely, which is what every non-government machine shop does. Being able to prove this is being done would require knowing when they're going to do this, and that's a decision that's often made spur of the moment. Hey, work is slow, let's have a clean-up day. There aren't any phones in the machine shop, either. Edit 2. A container to store the waste properly costs $200. Why waste taxpayer money when we can just poison the taxpayers instead? What the fuck? Contact your local news organizations. Contact the fucking EPA. If you pick up a wall phone at Home Depot and push 7, it activates the store-wide intercom. This works in every store in my province as far as I know. # then 35 at Lowe's. I worked at a comic book store that offered a service where you paid a small premium to have sent in rare comics to have them graded at CC. A few months later, we had many customers coming in to check the status of their comics. We contacted the owner to see what was going on, and he would always claim that there was some distribution problem. Fast forward a few months, we found out he was taking customers' graded copies and selling them online while trying to return back issue versions of their original comics. Olive Garden breadsticks are just Fran's brand breadsticks, garlic salt, and butter. ETA, it's margarine, not butter. I forgot there is a difference. Yeah, but I'm not buying Fran's sticks when Olive Garden will give me an unlimited amount that are already prepared. I used to work surveillance at a casino. From something like 3 stories high ceiling, we could zoom in on money on the table games and read the serial numbers of the bills. We could see the pips on the dice. Policy was to not look down blouses. This is true, and also very annoying because I work on the floor, and the guys in surveillance can't be bothered to do their job, and give us a lot of, can't really see anything when we call them. They're busy looking down a blouse. Worked at Best Buy 20 years ago. Employee discount was 5% over cost, and I needed a new printer. Decided to splurge on the gold-plated USB printer cable that we sold for $40. Rang up $1.78. I used to work as a receptionist at an upscale salon. While I was there, the salon introduced a new line of products marketed towards men. Up until that point, most of our products were marketed towards women, but the exec saw that we were getting more male customers. Every item in the men's product line was about half the cost of our other products. The men's shampoo was the exact same shampoo the salon had been selling for years, but because they put it in black packaging with the word man on it, it was half the price. The owner's explanation was, well, men don't want to pay that much for hair products. For the rest of the time I worked there, every time a woman came up to buy that shampoo, I'd tell her that the men's shampoo was the exact same product for half the price. I was the one who did an undercover news stories about Scamp's pet stores and their affiliation with puppy mills. Please don't buy from pet stores, folks. I worked at a Petco in Alaska. Apparently brown, black mice are not allowed up here. Only white mice. We got a shipment in of a bunch of black, brown mice and had to take them to the vet to be killed. Also, the animals are literally shipped in on a UPS truck and delivered in packages. I would open a package and it would be full of fish, or mice, or snakes. Yeah, never knew what was coming, it was wild. Luckily my shift manager was a really good person. She tried her best to help any sick animal, and was super diligent about keeping the cages really clean. She would stay after hours to care for the sick animal in the back, and double down on cleaning. When upper management came, they didn't give a shit how clean anything was. They would yell at us to get more customers to sign up for pet rewards. If I didn't pester every single person checking out, they would get angry and give me point deductions. I have no idea what the deductions even did. One of the upper managers watched me for like 3 hours when I was at the register. He said I wasn't pushy enough on getting people to donate, sign up for shit. Bitch, I will ask once, and if they say no, I am not asking again. That shit is annoying as fuck. He also got mad at me when I didn't clean the bird cage fast enough. It took time away from the register. I'm sorry, I don't want our birds to stand in their own shit for hours. So yeah, I'ma take my time to scrub that shit clean. Also, don't buy fish from Petco. Pretty much every shipment that came in, they were all infected with infectious crystalline keratopathy. Basically, half our tanks were in quarantine. We had several customers come back, saying we killed their entire fish tank because of a fish we sold them. Fuck Petco. When I worked at a Godiva store, we would turn expired chocolate bars into sample pieces. This has to be the most benign comment in this whole thread. Yeah, I'd honestly rather day-old chocolate be a sample than get thrown in the dumpster. I still work here, but everyone please, get a copy of your medical records from every place you've been to. Keep a hard copy in your home. Because I have horror stories from working in medical records since 2007. Hotels do not typically have security, maintenance, or housekeeping on staff 24/7. Once housekeeping finishes cleaning all the rooms, the entire staff leaves except for one front desk employee. In the United States, one company's bread and butter was simply reboxing and relabeling computer monitors from China to make it seem like they were from the company and made, assembled in some way by them. I work for a wholesaler. You would be surprised how many companies simply source merchandise and sell it without ever touching it. We ship it direct to their customers for them, just swap the return address for theirs. Maple sap can be trucked in from other states, and where it's turned from sap to syrup decides on the state it comes from, not the location of the trees. You need a maple syrup cartel, like in Quebec. Worked at a major cable, ISP, and their 4 billing cycles. They upgraded the billing system, but did something wrong, and all but the current cycle got a late charge. But instead of fixing it immediately, we were told to credit their account if the customer called in. I did the math, and for the size of our city, and the 3 to 4 of people wrongly charged, it was over $1 million USD. Most people just pay their bill and don't look to close. Comcast. They do this all the time. Not really worth the hour, plus it takes on the phone for them to not steal from you, but it's worth it to them to steal from thousands of people. Used to work at a graphic design firm. All our Adobe software was pirated. From what I've heard about Adobe, if I was in that game, I'd be pirating too. Back when Photoshop came out, it put a lot of the old school lithographers out of business. My dad was one of these. When he got laid off, he copied the stack of floppy disks with Photoshop on them, bought an Apple computer, and started his own company. All new clothing and everything you try on is dirty. I've worked in retail for years, and it still shocks people, but there's no washing machine, or disinfectant spray, or wipes. Nothing. I've opened boxes of new clothes that had white bugs coming out of it. Seen woman after a workout class come and try clothes on then just leave still sweaty from the class. One older lady left dime-sized skin flakes in the clothes she tried on. Not to mention whatever happens when they return the item or what happened in the factory. People are gross, nothing is clean, always wash your clothes when you get them home. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with your friends. Also check out other videos. See ya!